What is up, historians? Wizards of the Coast is back from their holiday break and are back to making announcements. And the first one they dropped was brief but quite a doozy. Changes are coming to Alchemy and maybe historic. So let's get into it on this Wizards is treating Alchemy like me when I go to take a piss and miss the toilet and have to make a quick course correction episode of Mana Rant. But first, I'm Hoshi, your host who allegedly misses the toilet sometimes. Nobody can prove it. And you are listening to the Mana Rant podcast, where I am always joined by a man whose proctologist quit on him due to the mental and physical stress he incurred. We have Drunken Dork.
That's a lie, everyone. I've never even seen a proctologist, so Hoshi, like always, go fuck yourself. I like to hold the F-bomb until about 3 minutes in, but
that not even close.
No, I think we're about 3 seconds in.
About a minute, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of missed my mark on that one. But what is up, everyone? Glad to be here again. Glad to see y'all.
Welcome back, guys. This is Mana Rant. We are the Mana Dorks, where we focus on the historic format mostly, but we're talking about Alchemy mainly today because that's what the announcement is around, and we're just kind of gonna take a look at also what it's been like over the last month since its release. What's the meta like? Is it healthier? Are people playing this thing? We're gonna check it out. In our podcast, it follows the phases of Magic. If you haven't tuned in before, we have Untap, Upkeep, Draw, Main Phase 1, Main Phase 2, all that stuff. And the main phases are going to be our main topics. And with that, let's just get into the show with our first phase, which is going to be the Untap phase.
Untap.
And Untap is where we untap something to drink during the show. It's a tradition here. We always, have a drink or two when we play some Magic. So, Drunken, what are you drinking tonight?
Sadly, I've been playing so much on my phone recently. I have not been drinking and playing Magic.
Really?
What a state of my fucking life has become. Anyway. I got what is this? Warsteiner. It's a German beer. It says das einzig war. So whatever that means.
Okay, hopefully that's not Worcestershire sauce you're about to.
No.
I don't speak German, so pretty cool though that you just were like, sure, I like the way that this bottle looks and sounds super German.
Yeah, I mean, you play the German music all the time. I figure, why not? Right?
I'm feeling in the Oktoberfest mood. All right.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. All right, and for me, I am drinking a improved Irish cocktail, or improved whiskey cocktail. Sorry, this is not some nonsense that my girlfriend made up. This is an actual drink. It's bourbon, maraschino liquor, simple syrup, absinthe, bitters, and a lemon peel. So it's kind of like an old-fashioned and a Sazerac had a baby, a delicious baby. And this is, that's what I'm drinking tonight.
Are you going to finish it today?
Am I going to finish this?
Are you going to be, or are you, like your drink, going to be a big old baby?
When have I never finished my drink?
Last week, you did not finish your drink. You were drinking straight bourbon, and you winked out.
I finished a couple of them by the time we got to the end, so yeah. So I wasn't about to just start pounding very good bourbon. All right, well, with that, cheers, Drunken Dork, and cheers, everybody out there. Let's have a good show.
Cheers, everyone.
All right, and with that, we'll move into our Upkeep phase. Upkeep, get ya Upkeep! Ooh. And Reddit Rant is our Upkeep phase. And Reddit Rant is where we look to the internet for people bitching, complaining about, Magic the Gathering, or in this case, Alchemy, which is a hot topic right now and has been pretty much since it came out. And so we are going to Reddit, actually, this week, where we're following this post that was written by George Graham. And let's load up the pretentious coffee shop music here for George, because this is one hell of a whiny post that he's got here. All right, so he starts off with, "Hello, everybody. This is my first post here. I've played Magic on and off for the past 7 years, and it wasn't until September of 2021 that I decided to try out MTG Arena. Before, I would only go to draft events, and I didn't want to spend outrageous amounts of money to keep up with the various formats that at the time were confusing for a player that just plays casually. When I started playing Arena, I already knew that I would have to spend a considerable amount of money to get a meta deck, and being familiar with other pay-to-win model games such as Clash of Clans and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I knew I wasn't afraid to drop $100 to get what I wanted to play for fun. First of all, this is not a pay-to-win game. This is more of a pay-to-play game. So, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of it's not a pay-to-win game.
It's not pay-to-win, yeah.
We do have people in our Discord, which if you're not in our Discord, please join, that are playing completely free, and they're killing it, you know? So, yeah,
Absolutely.
You don't have to.
Not pay-to-win. It's a different thing. Anyways, he continues. He continues for quite a while. I was happy for a time, but realistically, playing the same deck over and over again gets pretty boring, and you do get a good amount of packs, but everybody knows what the main thing you want is the wild cards, and those are just too rare. It takes forever to build a good deck, and my interest started to wane as I knew spending money was the only thing to keep my interest going and keep it fun. When I saw Alchemy was coming, I instantly knew that this was going to make the game even worse. No change in the economy, but now nerfs and buffs and a ton of new cards basically killed my interest. It's ridiculous, and I will not be spending any more money. I just feel like they're trying to drain you as much money as possible and not giving the community what it really wants. It makes me sad that I finally got back into Magic and I'm quitting again because of corporate greed. For anyone that's still playing, I wish you the best of luck." Oh, and I forgot to mention the title of this, which is Alchemy Killed MTG Arena.
Yeah, oh boy.
Woo, dramatic.
Yeah, I was just about to say, dramatic much? Boy, so
Drunken, there's a lot. What do you think about this novel?
Well, one, so this guy or girl or whoever this is, let's see, George Graham. So I'm going to assume it's a dude.
That's very gender phobic of you, but go on.
Yeah, all right. So anyway, he says he's a casual player, and then why the fuck doesn't he play casual formats, you know?
I don't know.
I don't understand how this would ever ruin anything for you if you're a casual player. That's all you do outside of the game of Magic or MTG Arena. Why would it change when you get into MTG Arena? You know, like
I don't know. And if you're just getting into the game, you should probably be playing standard, because that's the most like limited format. So Alchemy has no effect on normal standard. They made that clear when they made it, and it unfortunately does have an effect on historic as well. But the effect that it has on historic is kind of minimal as far as like the nerfs or anything. It did inject some pretty powerful cards into it, but I mean we get powerful cards injected all the time. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, also, you could just be playing Brawl, right? Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Or Draft.
That's true.
Right? Both of those things. Like, I mean, Draft can be pretty competitive.
Yeah,
but
and
like,
expensive.
both of those...
It's all expensive. Yeah, unless you're playing just like the normal, like free-to-play where you get a bunch of packs and stuff, you can make it. I get what he's saying. Like, if he dropped $100, he should be able to make like, a deck or two that's competitive, at least in standard. I think with all the free stuff that they give you.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen.
yeah, it doesn't always happen. That's true. Yeah, it's tough. But I can see how it does feel like it's pay to win because the people that are winning has spent probably a good amount of money for the most part on it. But it's not like pay to win like Clash of Clans and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Those are things where like you can pay to like upgrade your heroes. I can't like upgrade my Thalia, to like level 4 Thalia or whatever with like yeah, right. Like you get Thalia and you just get her. Like she doesn't get any better than she is. Yeah. So
I mean, but I will say the one aspect that is pay to win is like, so say for example, like there's a deck that like far surpasses any other deck. If you can buy that deck, you're paying to win, right? Like if you can afford to invest the $400+ into Arena to get one single deck, but at the same time, like you said, and like we already addressed, we have someone in our Discord, I can't think of his name, from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And he plays for free, and he plays auras. He has a blue-white aura deck, which started as a mono-white aura deck. He just like built cards over time, did his dailies, grinded it out. And now he has like a killer deck that's top tier, right? Yeah. It's tier 1 and hasn't paid a dime. So you can absolutely do that. And Alchemy, although it ruins some things, it doesn't ruin everything.
Yeah, you can. And I know like both me and you, like, or at least I know for me, like I usually don't spend any more than $50 like for whatever set has dropped. Maybe I'll drop some money on the like the pass or whatever that comes. Or I'll have gems saved up for it, but that's pretty much it. And then I make sure I do my dailies. I know I've heard of other YouTubers that spend like, they'll spend like over $1,000 like in a year, on it. And that's, for those guys that are like, pumping out the videos every day, they have to do that. But that's not, like just watch those guys, see what their decks look like, right? And then just be like, oh, okay, that deck is garbage. I don't need to craft those, right? So there's way smarter ways to do this. But this guy was, I don't get, there was another comment down here that I just needed to get into. And he's like, yeah, I really hate Alchemy. I just avoid playing it. Even deleted all my historic decks. Like, what?
Oh my God.
That is so fucking dramatic. Like, no, I can't believe they lowered, what was really the only nerf that they did that affected it? I think it was, Faceless Haven. They lowered it.
Faceless Haven.
They lowered it one attack power, and people are like, that's it. Yeah. That's it. I'm quitting.
People are ridiculous.
The
sky is always falling to some people,
Oh, always in Arena. Yeah, wait, there was some other post about that. Oh, I gotta get it. Where was it? Yes, the "This is killing magic" post. Classic. Classic post. All right. Well, that was Reddit Rant. This was a little bit longer one than we usually do. But if you find anything out there on the internet, anyone being ultra dramatic, feel free to send it our way. And with that, we will move into the draw phase. Let's draw. And in draw this week, we are going over MTG News with your favorite big-headed anchor, Drunken Dork.
Wow, great. Yeah, it's great to be here, everyone. Real cool. All right. So there's actually quite a bit of news here. Nothing really substantial, but there is something that we're going to be discussing throughout this episode. This is an alchemy-centric episode with the Reddit Rant, what I'm about to say, and what we're going to be talking about with the next two main phases. So let's start this off. So Alchemy Rebalancing news. It's been a month since the release of Alchemy, and we've enjoyed seeing the format grow and take its first steps over the holiday season. And now two of our first competitive Alchemy events are almost here. The Arena Open this weekend and the qualifier weekend next weekend. We know many players are preparing hard for these events, and we will not be making any late-breaking changes to the format before they occur, which is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it says, after the qualifier weekend, you can look forward to Alchemy's next phase with a new handful of rebalance cards coming your way. there will be boosts to some fun cards that aren't getting much love right now, as well as adjustments for some current strategies. We're excited for it, and we hope you are too, everyone. Love you, WotC.
Yeah. Oh man! Wow. Okay. So that is pretty intense. I feel like for a very short little statement, there's a lot of cryptic insinuation in there, and let's go into main phase 1 where we'll discuss this. All right.
Yeah.
Main phase 1.
All right. So, Drunken, what do you think about this post from Wizards of the Coast?
Dude, I'm ready for the hate. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, embrace it.
So I honestly, I have said before over and over that I really like the idea of this rebalancing tool of taking a fully digital format and rebalancing cards and tweaking them and, making some cards more powerful, some cards a little weaker. Like if there's one substantial deck that's just murdering, right? Mm-hmm. Rather than just banning the card now with Alchemy, what they're going to do is they're just going to rebalance a card, which I love. The thing is, it's going to affect Historic a little bit, but I don't think these changes, I don't think they're going to affect Historic enough to to do damage to any decks. But who knows, I can't see the future. It could potentially happen, but they haven't yet, They've already rebalanced cards. They've already done their first wave, right? When Alchemy released, that was their first wave of rebalancing and tweaking cards. Mm-hmm. And so nothing real substantial to our Historic format. And it came to a pretty cool format. I played it for a week and then I went back to Historic, but I am excited to see this. I'm very curious where this format's going to go. What do you think? Sorry, that was long-winded.
No, that was great. I mean, I think it's good that they're at least waiting to make the changes because they're putting out this qualifier and it's for everybody, not just pros to play, right? Where you can win up to $2,500 playing it. So that'd be a dick move for them to just scramble everything up while people are getting ready for this. And people are pissed. Some people are pissed about this because they want changes to it immediately because they feel like the format's stale. For the people that are enjoying it, they don't like it. They think that they should immediately make changes, that some cards are too powerful or some strategies are too powerful and they want other things to shine or whatnot. So they want it to happen now. But so Wizards is kind of in a hard place there with this tournament coming up. I think it's the right move to wait until afterwards.
Absolutely.
I do wish in that the second paragraph in here, where after the qualifier weekend, this is where they get a little cryptic and kind of, I don't know if they're just trying to build hype or whatever, but I would say that my feeling from that second paragraph is apprehension more than anything, is what do you mean you're going to be rebalancing? What do you mean? Okay, so it looks like from what I'm extracting from this, they're saying they're going to be helping out some fun cards and making them stronger is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like they're nerfing anything, at least unless they might, but they're not saying that. So no, go on.
So I mean, they don't say they're necessarily nerfing something, but they are saying they're waiting until these qualifiers are over to see what the win rate of something is. If something has the potential of being nerfed and and then it will be. But yeah, you're right. They don't really cover that too much in the second paragraph, but that's kind of what I gathered out of that.
Yeah. And then, the second part of that second paragraph where they said they're going to be making some adjustments for some current strategies. I don't know what the fuck that means. That's very ambiguous. Yeah. What current strategies? Life gain, the sack thing going on. What are you adjusting? What does that even mean? I'm curious about that part. I like the idea of boosting cards. That always is fun to me. Making cards playable. That sounds fun. The more cards that we have that are useful, that are not garbage cards, I think everybody enjoys that. but making nerfing cards like really pisses people off, and rightfully so. It sucks getting stuff taken away that we paid for. We're getting goodies for free is nice. So I feel like they're making enough money out of this game. They can afford to, give us some more free stuff, especially for us that are, paying them to do this. It would be nice. So I don't know. I just wish they would have given us a little bit more than that in this, but maybe they don't know yet. They do use these tournaments as a way of making adjustments, which I feel like always is not a good way to do, because we've talked about this before, how like a tournament is different than like, playing on the ladder. Like things are going to work in a tournament that won't work on a ladder. So but I mean, they have the metrics, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think they know for the most part what they're going to do, and I think now their sample size is so large with Arena that they're able to kind of understand what they're going to see in the tournament, right? Yeah. Like the thing, you're right. It's not a good way of like weighing out what is good and what isn't, because basically what these people do in the tournament sometimes is they're like, okay, Gruul's the best deck.
Yep.
Along with this other deck, what deck can I make that is really good against those two decks?
Yeah.
And then there's like a possibility that like I'm gonna get, fucking 8 straight wins or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that can work somewhat on the ladder, but it's not. Yeah. Unless like the one classic one is like the one where Oko was out, right? And like literally everyone that was in the tournament was playing Oko. That was a pretty good indicator. Where all the pros were like, we tried to do like what you just talked about, like make a deck that crushes the top deck only, but all the pros were like, we couldn't do it like without Oko. Oko was needed in like he was like in literally every deck, and so they were like, okay, we should probably get rid of that card.
Well, and
no one saw that coming. Yeah.
When Tybalt's Trickery got banned, it got banned right after one of these tournaments.
Yeah.
It's like everyone was fucking on their pedestal, like screaming at the sky, like ban this piece of shit. But it took a tournament with that and Throes of Chaos, right, to really see how high of a win percentage something like that had, and it fucking blew like that tournament out of the water. So, finally they took action. Finally.
I am excited to see what the digital remastering of this format looks like. Is it going to be fucking chaos? Or are they going to make it like a horrible format? Or is all of this data and them being able to tweak these digital cards going to be for the better in Alchemy? So for that, I am kind of glad that they just made this little format off on the side that they can fuck with. The part that I don't like, and I don't know anyone that does like this, is that it has the potential to affect historic, which is what the fuck. Yeah. Like we like historic. Like there's very few people.
Love historic,
yeah, exactly. We love historic, and historic has been doing great. And when you interject new cards in it like that, that's fine, right? And I feel like they've made appropriate adjustments to historic, like when they've needed to, despite Tybalt's Trickery, and that they don't fuck with historic with Alchemy, and they didn't address that, and I hope they address that coming up, that they because if they're going to keep making wild changes to Alchemy and it's going to affect historic, I can see that very negatively impacting our format. People don't like it, right? Where it's easy to ignore Alchemy if you don't like it. If you don't like any of this going on, you could go, whatever, fuck Alchemy, who cares? I'm not going to play it, right? Like I could just ignore it. I'll go back to playing standard, or unfortunately historic, which now is getting affected. And that's why we're really talking about it in here too, is like, it has a potential to affect us. So I know I petitioned against it on their website, which is basically like making a Twitter post. I feel like they don't give a shit about that, so we'll see. I mean, I know a lot of people. I've literally heard no one that was like, this is a great thing that they're affecting historic. I've heard no one mention that so far. And
I have a quick thing that just dawned on me. So these rebalance cards for Alchemy, when they get pushed out of Alchemy, right? Because it's still a standard format, right?
Yeah.
Every 2 years, they cycle the cards out.
Yeah.
So these cards never leave historic. Does that mean they go back to their original? Oh, there goes my phone. that person didn't like what I was saying. Does that mean they go back to their original like text, which I think they probably will, right?
I fucking hope before it ever gets to a rotation, they already have just, stopped the shenanigans of it affecting historic. Ideally, before it ever rotates, they fix it. If it does get to that point, I think historic is going to be, in a bad state. If it goes to a full rotation and they're fucking with alchemy a lot and it's affecting historic, I could see that being pretty detrimental to historic because they're different power levels, right? They shouldn't affect each other. So I hope it doesn't get to that. And if it does, then I don't know who gives a shit at that point, right? Like this.
Well, it's weird because it's gonna, it's like a kind of a weird thing to think about, right? Because that means that historic is already going to be getting the cards that are injected into it, right, from both alchemy and historic and standard. And then on top of that, every rotation, these cards that are adjusted for alchemy are now going to be readjusted to what they were, right? So it's really, I mean, the whole thing is kind of bizarre. It is. And it's going to make, I personally, like, I'm not super opposed to it. I'm like, I don't like it. I'll make that statement, but like, I'm not super opposed to it, and it'll make it kind of an interesting, like, constantly evolving format, which I like, because I really like the deck building aspect of Magic the Gathering. And that's something that this kind of does. It adds like a new level of that to historic.
I like that, and I exactly get what you're saying. Like, I like changing stuff around. I just don't like adjustments to another format affecting ours, like a different metagame affecting ours. Like, if our metagame is fucked up in historic, then I do want them to fix that, but I don't want them to fuck with our format for no reason because, right, some other format is all fucked up. So that's my issue with it. And
here's another question for you that I'm going to raise real quick. Totally off topic, but now that they're fucking doing this to alchemy, right? Like, well, now they've been doing it for a month now. Yeah. Like, when you think they're going to start doing this with historic? I mean, they're both two formats that are fully digital, right? So they have the capability of doing the same exact thing. Do you think they're going to start doing this with historic? Like, where they're rebalancing cards for historic only?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
I don't. I hope they don't, really, because they don't need to. I think historic is in a pretty stable format for the most part, right? Every once in a while.
Well, not now, right?
Yeah. Well, you don't think historic is stable right now?
No, I mean, sorry, it is stable now, but like, it's not always, right?
That's true. Yeah, there are the Muxus times where there's like one deck that's just running a fucking rampage, but that happens all the time. And I feel like they are capable of making adjustments with bans and stuff for things, but they might. I don't know. I think they're watching Alchemy to see how it goes. So depending on how it is, they might. But I don't think they will right now. I think they're waiting to see how this goes and see how it plays out. And if they do, it's fine. I don't mind if they adjust historic for historic's sake to fix the historic meta if it's all fucking out of whack, right? Like, no one wants that. No one wants one deck that's just destroying everything. That's like like an all mythic deck, that you have to get, and then it gets like fucking banned or nerfed. Uro, god damn it. Like when Uro was around.
And Oko, right? Like, let's just bring him back, nerf him a little bit.
I could see them bringing. I mean, they brought back Omnath, but he was in the alchemy, so they brought him back for that. I don't know if they'll do that for historic yet. I could see them bringing back Uro and be like, hey, we made him one more mana, guys. I mean, maybe he'd be playable, right? If you made him a four cost, he'd still probably be good.
Yeah, hey, Hoshi, it's 2022. We don't do bans anymore. It's rebalances, all right, from S'mores and Bacon. Screw your fucking wild cards, you dumb bitch. He said it exactly like that.
Okay, that sounds like
and
him.
He was talking to you.
Okay, that you know what that makes sense. I mean, they do want to hold on to them wilds, I don't know why. I was so pissed that I had to buy Omnath, even though I already had him. Yeah, they gave me the wilds for him, but I had to like repay for Omnath, and he sucks now. He is bad. Bad.
He's bad.
He's not really. He's not even really playable anymore. Yeah. So So I wasted the wilds on those, and I feel fucking dumb for doing it. That was a salty wound right there. Just give them back to me, Wizards. I want my 4 mythics back for that. All right. Anything else about this announcement before we get into just like what we really think of Alchemy overall?
No, yeah, we're still going to talk about Alchemy in main phase 2. So I have things I'm going to talk about there. I'm good for now, though.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. So next we're going to go into the horseshit card game. And then after that, we're going to do a meta check on Alchemy. Like after a month, like what does the meta game look like? And then our thoughts and opinions on it. And with that, let's go into combat.
Dorkish combat.
And combat is our horseshit card game hosted by Drunken Dork. So take it away.
What is up, everyone? This is the Horseshit card game, and this is a game where I change it up every week, but this week what I'm doing is I'm going to name 5 magic cards. 4 of them are from our beloved historic format, and 1 of them isn't. I tried to do an alchemy themed one, but it turns out that like it's really easy to figure out which cards are in alchemy right now.
Yeah.
So
there's not that many.
Yeah, so I had to stick with historic.
Okay.
And Hoshi, we got a theme this week.
Ooh, I like themes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start by reading the first card. You'll see the theme real quick, okay?
Okay, here we go.
All right, we got Arcbound Whelp, 3 in a red for a artifact creature dragon with flying. It says spend 1 red mana. Arcbound Whelp gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and it has modular 2.
Cool.
It is a 0/0.
Oof.
Then we have Or Scale Guardian. It is 5 red for a creature dragon, and it says this spell costs 1 less to cast for each land card in your graveyard. It has flying and haste, and it is a 4/4.
Okay.
Then we got Spark-Tongue Dragon, 3 red for a creature dragon, flying. When Spark-Tongue Dragon enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 in a red. When you do, it deals 3 damage to any target. It is a 3/3. Then we have Noxious Dragon, 4 black for a creature dragon. As flying, it says when Noxious Dragon dies, you may destroy target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less. It is a 4/4. Finally, White Dragon, 4 white for a creature dragon. As flying, it says Cold Breath. When White Dragon enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. It is a 4/4. And I want to shout out Mythic Wind for a second. And he's in our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, please join. He's like, you know what? That piece of shit Hoshi is probably cheating.
Really?
He said that cocksucker, motherfucker. Yeah, exactly like I'm saying it.
This is how people talk to me all the time.
Talk about you, yeah.
To my face.
And so, so he's like, delete all the text on the bottom because it has dates and stuff on there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I don't look at that, but I do know that is a thing that you can, I think sometimes it sets or something on there. Cool. All right, so let's take a look at these. So once again, I'm down to 2 of them. So Arcbound Whelp, I'm not absolutely sure on, but I'm pretty sure it came in with the Historic Horizons set because we did get some modular cards in there. The Ogre Scale Guardian, I don't know about that one. And then we got Spark-Tongue Dragon. That one I am fairly sure about. Noxious Dragon, once again, I don't know about this one. And then the White Dragon, I am fairly sure that is from the D&D set, where they had all the like colored dragons. So I'm in between the Ore Scale Dragon and the Noxious Dragon. Those are the 2 where like, I don't know. The Noxious Dragon seems pretty cool. It sounds like an effect that I've heard before. It's a black dragon. That kind of stands out. little bit more. The War Skill Dragon, the spell costs 1 less to cast for each land card in your graveyard. That's a weird condition. Oh, man. I think I'm gonna go with the Noxious one, though. The red one could easily blend in with all the other ones. Man, I don't know. This is a toughie. It's tough. I'm gonna go with the Noxious one just because maybe I would have recognized that art. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
Final answer.
All right, so Hoshi chose a Noxious Dragon and Jacavio or Scale. So we got 2 different answers. One of you 2 is right. And Hoshi, you got it right again.
Yes!
Good job.
Yes!
Good job, brother. Yeah. And Jacavio, this little sound clip is for you.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Oh man. Woo! Oh, that was tough. All right, so it was Noxious Dragon.
Yeah.
Man. Wow.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. I like dragons. That was once again down to 2, man. Well, good job, man. And Apollo probably lost too, if it makes you feel any.
Oh yeah, he definitely isn't watching, but if he was, he lost. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully you guys got out there too. Let us know. Did Drunken get you this week with the dragons? As he got Jacavio? And with that, we will move into our main phase 2.
Main phase 2.
And main phase 2 is where we're gonna go over just like the meta and what we think about alchemy in general. So do you want to go over our thoughts first and then get into the meta, or talk about the meta first?
So let's why don't you play the video and I'll talk about that first.
Sure.
And does that sound good? And then we'll kind of go from there. Okay. So unfortunately, if you're listening, you can't see what we're playing here, but basically what I did was I took the top 5 decks and I did 5 or 3. I either won 5 games or lost 3, and then I'd move on to the next deck. Actually, I did this with 4 of the top decks, but I went through Gruul Wolves, Dragons, Esper life gain, like Clerics, and Mono Black Sack. And actually the only one that I won 5 games with, was before I got 3 losses, was the Gruul Wolves.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean anything because I was pretty exhausted of playing. This is probably the least amount of Magic I've played over the past month or so that I've played in the past years, just because all the stuff that's been going on in my house, with the electrical and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so anyway, all the decks seem really strong. And one thing I got out of it was when I was looking at them on the Aether Hub site, is they're all rated about the same. Not one really shines over the other. There's a larger sample size with some of the decks, but all of them have about the same win percentage. So, and I like them all. I will say I like the Gruul Wolves deck a lot. Not because I won 5 games with that one only, but just because it's a powerful deck. You can really see it. It definitely has its faults. The first game I play against Dragons kills me, because if Dragons has the nuts draw, they fucking win.
Oh yeah. If they have Dragon Whelp, usually that's
well, if they have Dragon Whelp and you don't have removal, then they're gonna win. If they have dragons in their hand.
Yeah, usually.
But yeah, overall, I like them, and I think Alchemy is a really balanced format. What do you think?
I've played I play 2 decks usually in Alchemy. I didn't cast all of them. I don't have the Dragon deck yet. I play a Cleric's deck, and then I play this Gruul deck, and I really like both of them. They're fun decks, especially this one is great. The one that you're playing looks a little different than my Gruul deck. I just kind of threw one together. I didn't grab it off the ladder, so this one is probably a little bit stronger than mine is. I run that 6-drop one that gives all your creatures +2/+2, and that card's absolutely bonkers. And it's a lot of fun to drop that thing. And I run Cemetery Prowler and that kind of stuff in there, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the format. I do feel like it's a little slow though, most of the time. from what I've been playing. There's a lot of control decks in there that are powerful. And so if you like playing control strategies, then maybe Alchemy is a good format for you to slot into, because mono black and Esper and there's a lot of decks that are very powerful. But you know what? I think you're right. I think those decks are balanced pretty well. But I will say that those are basically the only playable decks in this format. Everything else doesn't really seem to be competitive at all. If I play an offshoot deck that's not like a standard one of these top decks that we're gonna look at, then I feel like they don't stand a chance. They usually just get crushed. It's like someone trying something out, and it's the format is figured out, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are complaining about, is that it's just like there's like a few decks that you have to choose from while playing this. But
so yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah, like you're right. I did lose to Mill like multiple times in this video.
Nice.
and like I didn't even see that near the top.
No, it's because it's not good.
But yeah, it's not necessarily in best of one though. Like it's not good in best of three for sure. Like it's a significantly worse deck.
Yeah.
But in best of one, it has the potential to like do stuff, And I do think that the format is figured out a little bit, but at the same time, like there's such a vast variety of decks you can play that it is like a healthy format. Unlike Historic, where you could build some like jank, but it's not really jank, like low to the ground artifacts or something.
Yeah.
Or Enchantress, and like win games with it. You can't really do that with this, but you also can't ever do that in standard. So as far as like a standard format goes, like I think it's good in comparison to like how a standard format normally is.
That's interesting, because one of the things that I do think about this format is that it's significantly stronger than standard, but because there's these like stronger cards injected into it, they really have warped the format in a weird state to where it's made a couple of decks pretty strong, significantly stronger than anything that's in standard, and it's still relatively balanced, which is weird, I feel like, because with these like stronger injected cards into it, I feel like there should be more of a misbalance almost, and we're not really seeing that, despite the fact that it is figured out still pretty, but like you're saying, they're pretty well balanced for how strong they are. But I do feel like there is a giant divide between those like top decks and the lower ones, which you were just saying in Historic, it's not really like that. You can play around with all kinds of weird janky stuff in Historic, which you can't do that in Alchemy. You got to play one of these decks or variations of these decks, or your jank is probably not going to thrive too well in this format, unfortunately.
I mean, I'll give you an example in Historic. There's this dude in the Historic subreddit that we always post in, and he fucking like every season he makes it to Mythic with dinosaurs. He has a fucking dinosaur deck.
That's awesome.
But he's able to do it, because the decks are so broad.
Yeah.
The different types of decks you can play are so broad and Historic. Like, sure that you're gonna run into elves maybe 1 out of every 10 games, 1 out of every 5 games, or something like that, or goblins 1 out of every 5. But there's always a variance of, I'm going to run into, colorless ramp, and like maybe fucking dinos is real good against colorless ramp, right? So, it plows them over, or control or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's really good against elves. So it's just like a good format to be in. And that is the thing, is since we have such a deep card pool in our format, that you're always going to have a lot wider range of decks you can see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what I as a jank player, that's why I really love I believe the Historic format over all the other ones, is because there's powerful janky weird stuff like dinosaurs. That's just like amazing. Like who plays dinosaurs anymore? Like that guy, obviously.
That guy
does. Oh man. I just have to say, from watching this video, your bat is giving me anxiety over on the left-hand side, because you sped up this video and he's just like, he just
constantly like flying and like he's having an aneurysm.
Like, yeah, exactly. He's like the most cocaine bat to ever exist. But
yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Like, I want to speak to this. Like, I played for probably 3 hours today. I played making this video. Fucking yeah, you said in the beginning that this is a significantly slower format than Historic, and it is. Like, you don't know you're gonna win till like, or lose, I should say, till sometimes like turn 8 or 9, you know, and that's a regular occurrence.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's kind of wild because you know, because of that, I think there's a lot more thinking involved. So like as the games go on, I mess up more and more and more, because 2 hour, like, I haven't played like I mean this, I haven't really been playing a lot of Magic recently. Unfortunately, I've been wanting to, it's just I haven't been able to. And so like, dude, it's exhausting. It's an exhausting ass game. And even like something like Alchemy, you know, there's like really complex interactions in this format, which I think makes it, you know, a good format. It's just not as good as Historic. That's all.
It's not. Yeah. In the deck that you're playing against right now in this video is the, you know, that was the mono black like sack deck. And man, that deck, I fucking hate playing against that one, because it's like you were saying, like, I don't know if I'm going to beat that deck until like turn 8 or 10, or if I'm going to lose, you know? So it's exhausting to play against it. I'm just like, you know, because I'll feel like I'm winning, and then they'll just be doing all kinds of crazy sack stuff. But it's a very interesting deck. I like the deck, like in theory, but I don't like playing against it because, just like you're saying, I'm like, fuck, when is this game gonna be over? I want to play a different match now. Like, it's it's a slog playing against it. So I feel like there's a lot more like control type strategies like that. I know Dragons and Gruul in them are good and they're in there. I don't seem to play them very often. I seem to like only play like control strategies, like that mono black one. I play that one all the time, and it's exhausting.
It's an incredibly powerful deck, and like I played it in this video. It's really strong. It's really, really slow, super clicky, just like food in Historic, right? Just like food sack.
It's not as bad as that, but yeah, it's it's pretty annoying. Yeah,
it's pretty bad, and like, I don't know, it feels powerful. It feels more powerful than anything else I've done in Standard in a very long time. And because of that, I like it. You know, it's a good people say Historic is like the digital legacy, where Alchemy is like the digital modern. Okay. And then Standard is Standard, of course. And sure. Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel that way. Alchemy doesn't touch modern, and Historic really doesn't touch legacy.
No.
But, I guess if you're going to compare them to anything, like, those are good comparisons.
I guess so. I mean, Historic is more comparable to modern, I guess, than anything. But
for sure.
But yeah, so I like the format. One of the things that I like about this format is that I can sometimes, like, I feel like playing the cleric deck, the one like that you're playing right now. Mine's a little different than this one. But you know, I'll just feel like playing that deck, and you know, this deck wouldn't do super good in Historic, but you know, I'll be in the mood to play that deck. So I'll hop over to Alchemy. I'll give it a play, and then you know, I'll get sick of Alchemy, and then I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to go back to Historic, or I'm going to go play Brawl now or something. I've really been hopping around a lot this week, I feel like, and I've been enjoying it. If I'm sick of a certain format, like, I just flop over to something else, which is incredible. Like, that's one of the things I'm really enjoying about Arena right now is just the diversity in the different things that I can play. Now, that's easy for me as having a large card pool, and you know, understanding the different metas and stuff is pretty huge to play. And I could see how this format would get boring if it was all you were playing. I would be sick of it. But luckily for me, I'm like, I'll lose 5 games in a row and be like, fuck Alchemy. And I'll just hop back over to Historic and play some Enchantress or some Big Red or something, and make me happy. Kill some elves. Always makes me feel good.
I will say I lost every single game with the Cleric deck, which is
really?
like,
it's hard.
It's one of the most powerful decks, but honestly, when I went into like playing any of them, I didn't do any research. I just like copy pasted each deck because I had majority of the cards, so it wasn't a big deal. And like, so I didn't look how the deck worked. And
there's a learning curve
and like,
with it. Yeah.
And so when I was playing, I was like, what is this thing trying to achieve? Oh, it really is like a cleric deck.
It is.
Like, I didn't even know it was a cleric deck. I thought it was a life gain deck in the beginning.
It is, but it's also a cleric deck. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, that same with the mono black deck, but I feel like that mono black deck is really my comfort zone. So I caught on real quick,
it's insane just what you're able to pull off with that thing. Like the food, it's the only thing that has made good use of food so far. Right? Like, or not food, blood tokens. Sorry.
Blood tokens.
No, food was very good. Yeah, no, but blood tokens was the thing where when it came out, we were kind of comparing it to food, and it has vastly fallen short to food until this deck. I feel like this is the only deck that has actually gotten a good use out of the blood tokens, and so that's cool. I think that's cool. It's a very strong deck. It's got a lot going on for it, but it's not like really powerful, right? It's like very like a death by 1,000 cuts type style deck, I like it. Yeah, it's fun to play against, and it's you're kind of like riding by the seat of your pants while you're playing it, trying to stay alive. But it stabilizes really well, and it has a lot of like fuckery. Yeah, it's a jerk off deck. That's why you like it. That is absolutely your style. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, but it's like I'm really into life mitigation too. And, it does a lot of that, right? Like sacking things, and it is a jerk off deck. And I don't know. It's just it does speak to me. I think I won 2 and then lost 3 consecutive games, so I quit playing it. But like, I think it's a really small sample size I use with all the decks. Yeah. And I do think if I went through and I played like 30 games with each deck, I'd probably have similar win rates with all of them. I do think all of them are really powerful, and it's just about what you're playing against at the moment and really where your head's at. That's always a big part of it, right?
Yeah. I think that the only deck that I really want to craft out of these maybe is the dragon one. The dragon one looks cool. This actually does look interesting, but I don't like playing like 30-minute games like this. It drives me fucking nuts, and I could see myself like playing this and then playing against another person playing this exact same deck and being like, well, fucking strap in, let's pour some sleepy time tea, because this is going to be an hour-long match of us just fucking jerking off at each other the entire time, which sounds great in theory, but you did just get milled to death. That's hilarious. Getting milled. I'm surprised that mill is even. I don't think I've ever played a mill deck in Alchemy. And
I played 2 consecutive mill decks, and they both kill me. And like, I think that it's like one of those decks that plays to the advantage of people playing something that is as slow as this mono black sack deck, right? Yeah. And So yeah, I have nothing else to say about this. Do you? Okay,
I just thought we'd take a quick look at what the meta is like, and so here, like, because there is a best of 3 and best of 1 format, and I just want to see like what the variation would be. So they got Gruul here, they got dragons. So Gruul is at the top in best of 3, followed by dragons, followed by Azorius Control, which is surprising. But like I said, there is a lot of control decks out there. Then the mono black control, which is the one that we were just talking about. There's Orzhov, which is the clerics deck, and there's mono green, which you don't run into that often. Another Esper clerics, and then they got Golgari sack, Mardu, and then it just starts to go off into all kinds of like weird stuff, and then a whole bunch of dragon nonsense going on down there.
So one thing though I'll say about all these decks is the sample size is larger with obviously Gruul and Boros Dragons.
Yeah.
But the average win rate is very similar with all of them. And actually Gruul and Boros Dragons at the top is lower.
Yeah.
The mono black, Orzhov, mono green, Esper, or I guess Esper is a little bit lower, but they're all very similar. So they're all going to be generally pretty good decks.
That's true. The sample size is pretty small on best of 3 though. It's only like 200 something matches. Look at the difference between that and best of 1. Best of 1 far outmatching best of 3 in the amount of matches played. Holy shit. 3,500 matches compared to like 200 for best of 3. So far more people playing best of 1 in this format as far as that goes. And then the top one is Esper Clerics. With 11, what is it? A
11.7 percent of the meta at 61 average percent win rate.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good.
Pretty good.
And I lost 3 consecutive games with it, but I think that speaks to me and maybe what I was playing against, because I do think that the format is kind of like a rock paper scissors format too, just like historic.
It does bad against control decks, that's for sure. It's a tough match against control decks with the Esper one. And then followed by Mono Red Dragons, which is a 7% of the meta, and it's same exact win percentage, 61. Followed by the Black Sack deck, which is once again 7%. This one's at 59%, so slightly less win percentage, but still, those are basically like splitting hairs between the difference of those win rates. Then we have once again another Orzhov Life Gain deck, and then Gruul followed by that, which Gruul follows a little bit less, 57%. And then Dragons, Boros Dragons at 60. There's so many of these decks that are running at like a 60% win rate. So I don't know who's playing all the jank in here that's getting their ass kicked. These decks have very good win percentages in them. And it's
you and people like you, dude. It's people who are probably like, I play standard or I play historic. I'm going to try out alchemy. And then they just fucking bring an awful deck in and get their, assholes pounded, right?
I'm going to play zombies.
Yeah. I did it. I absolutely made a zombie deck and got fucking murdered every single game. I was like, this is the worst idea ever. Yeah.
Zombies always sounds great. You're like, yay, I'm gonna have fun. And then Arena's like, fuck your fun, bitch. You're gonna lose.
I'll show you what fun is, all right?
You're gonna lose every game. Zombies, get that shit out of here. That's like the tribe that has probably the most of any tribe out there and is by far the worst tribe out of all for compared.
Hey man, speak for yourself. Zombies are the shit.
I love zombies. They're fun. They are fun to play. I've tried to make zombies work almost every time that I could. Any deck that injects some new zombie into the format, I'm like, this could be the one that they foretold about that will save the zombie deck, and it never is. It's always like, anyways, well, so overall, do you think that it is a good thing that they made alchemy? A lot of people at least our Reddit ranter says that this is the death of Arena. It's over now because of alchemy. Do you think it was a good idea for them to make alchemy, or do you think they shouldn't have done it?
So I think we live in a world, and I'm gonna get some shit for this.
Absolutely.
Of Zoomers ruling the world and instant gratification, Zoomers and our generation, millennials.
Sure.
And, where they want instant gratification, right? And I do think that it is a good thing.
Yeah.
I do agree that like this alchemy thing affecting historic has the potential of being something really bad. But I do think that over time, if they separate the two or they learn how to like coexist well, that it will be a really good thing. And I do like the format as it is.
Nice, dude. I feel the same way. I think if they fix the one thing that pisses me off about alchemy, and that's that it affects historic, then I'm all in. I love it at that point. I'm total whatever they do with alchemy, right? Like if I don't like alchemy, or if it's in a bad state, or if I get sick of it, I go play Brawl or I go play Historic or something, right? I can just hop right out of it. I don't really care that much because I have these other formats that I like. And I have not enjoyed Standard at all since I think I switched to Historic. So this is the closest that I've gotten to like enjoying Standard, or at least playing Standard at all since since I started playing Historic. So I got to give it to Alchemy at least for that, so I like it. I don't know. I hope it shapes up, and I hope Wizards pulls their head out of their ass and makes Alchemy only affect Alchemy as it should. So with that, unless you got anything else, I think we'll just move on to our end step.
Yeah, let's do it.
And end step is where we talk about anything we got going on outside of, magic that is nerdy and, anything this week, Drunken.
So, this does have to do with magic, but I want to mention it here. So after the podcast, we're going to have a new channel within our channel. I don't know how you say it. Where I'm going to make a place where you can post questions or comments or corrections to our podcast. So like you hear something, you hear us say something stupid that does, that is obviously wrong. Tell us, we'll bring it up in the next week's podcast. All right. If you have a question, think of Hoshi and I as your therapist. All right. Like this doesn't have to be magic related, all right? This could be life related. You can ask us.
We are not.
You can ask us. Yeah, you can ask us a question about real life shit. Like, hey, my wife, she farted and I'm uncomfortable with that.
I knew it. I knew there was gonna be some kind of butt talk in there.
And what do you think I should do going forward? And, we're not going to read the questions ahead of time. We'll read them every week.
Okay.
And we'll improv our solutions to your questions. We'll talk about the comments, if you have any about any corrections or anything, we'll talk about it there. If we think your corrections are wrong, we're probably going to put you in your spot. So,
so like a ranter's mailbox type thing for us, is what you're saying? Just any questions or okay, sure. All right, I'm on board. And then we just have to resist looking in that channel all week until the podcast till we read these things.
So don't expect us to answer anything.
Immediately.
We will read them live and it'll be completely improv and
oh man.
Yeah, and
all right. So if you want your whatever craziness you want to say to us, read out loud on the podcast, I guess. Join the Discord.
I mean, we honestly we honestly don't have a lot of people in our Discord, so if you're not part of it, please join. Please correct us. I have no problem being corrected. I'm pretty sure Hoshi doesn't either.
No, I don't care.
We're both people. We make mistakes.
Idiots.
And I would like to get the real information out there, so if we say some stupid ass shit and we're saying stupid shit.
Speaking of which, last week, quick correction to the Reddit rant that I went over last week, where we were making fun of the guy and talking about how 8 mana Ugin and Agent of Treachery and something else was banned in Brawl. It turns out everything that he mentioned was actually banned in Historic Brawl. So I already knew Agent was. I didn't think Agent was banned in there. It turns out it is. Also, 8 mana Ugin is banned in Brawl for some reason. I have no fucking clue why, but it is banned there. And I didn't see any of the announcements for it. So that guy was absolutely right about that. And, I'm the idiot in that case for making fun of it. He still said a bunch of ridiculous shit, and I stand by what I said about that. But but he was right about the historic bans that took place there. So, I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's not the first.
I mean, you're wrong all the time. So I'm
it's the first time it's the first time it's ever happened. All right.
And,
cool.
Anyway, that's all I want to say. I think we have something fun going here. So, I'm looking forward to Jacavio's life problems coming up on the show.
Great. I need to put on a sweater vest or something when we answer these questions.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be smoking a bubble pipe.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, well,
All right.
with that, let's move into our cleanup.
Clean up.
And cleanup is social media promo stage, where we just talk about how we can, you can get a hold of us, or how you can hang out with us or listen to us. So we do this on YouTube. We talked about the Discord. The Discord's great. We're on there as much as humanly possible. We got Twitch, where we stream this live every Thursday. Usually Thursday. It's around 8. PM, give or take. We try to get that as close to as accurate as we can, and then we're on all the podcast stuff, the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that kind of stuff, and those come out on Sunday, as well as the YouTube. But if you want to catch us early, we do this live on Twitch on around Thursdays, and then at some point maybe we'll do like some kind of early release thing whenever we actually have any type of like Patreon or something like that. But until then, who knows when that's gonna be? Anything else, Drunken, for cleanup?
Nope.
All right, cool. And with that, we will go into our discard phase.
Discard phase. Drink 'em up, boys.
And discard is where we pound our drinks that we have been drinking tonight, and then just say our final farewells. Drunken, any final farewells?
So long, everyone. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to becoming your weekly psychiatrist, however you want to say it.
No one is looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, this is a good show. And then next week we'll be back again on some type of historic topic, and hopefully we will see you guys once again right back here on Mana Rant. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Drink it all this time, Hoshi. Oh, yeah. Michelob Ultra again? What is that?
Woo! Yeah. Oh.
You did the whole thing?
Yeah.
You did it all?
I did it.
Oh my god.
I'm a big boy.
You're a big, yeah, you're a big boy now.
I'm a big boy. I did it.
Oh no.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
Are we doing gameplay after this?
Let's do it.
Oh shit.
Oh.
All right.
Let's do it. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, that was a lot of carbonation.
Dude, those are the worst to fucking pound. They are the absolute worst. Because of that, I feel like I'm like fucking pregnant with triplets and shit.
I mean, you look that way all the time anyways, so.
That is true.